Hey there, folks. Adam here from Instant Weather. We're going to go live. We're doing something we haven't done in the past, which is we're going to go live in Ontario and Alberta at the same time. So this should get hopefully not too confusing, but we're dealing with significant severe weather risk in Alberta, and we're dealing with an isolated severe weather risk in Ontario. And as opposed to doing one or the other, we decided to bring the country together and go live in both provinces. So we'll see how this goes. We've never done a separate one. Like we've done like Alberta and Saskatchewan before, and I think we've done Northern Ontario and Southern Ontario before, but we haven't gone this far across. So we'll see how it's going. But first, let's take a look at the forecast maps. First, we'll take a look at the more severe one, which is going to be Alberta. Already tornado warnings in place. In fact, while we're talking, Rocky Mountain House needs to be getting prepared to take shelter immediately because tornado warning and a supercell heading right towards Rocky Mountain House right now. So as you can see, Rocky Mountain House is within the significant risk area, which is the red there. And I mean, that's probably the largest orange I think we've ever done as far as the map is concerned of a severe weather risk. And then yellow would be isolated risk and blue would be non-severe. So yeah, so it's going to be pretty interesting for sure. Basically, Rocky Mountain House, Red Deer area, that is the main concern. But we could have some severe weather in other places as well too. So we're gonna have to be watching a lot of different radars as closely as we possibly can, watching your reports and checking on what we're dealing with here. So that's the Alberta forecast. Now over to the Ontario forecast, which is not as significant, but we did have a report of a water spout over Lake Huron that is moving towards kind of the forest areas right now. It looks like that storm might be weakening some, but we have seen also some rotation a little bit further to the north as well too. So we'll have to be conscious of that, kind of near the Kinburn area and Walton moving to the east as well. So as you can see, not as strong of a severe risk in Ontario as it is in Alberta, but worth watching as well too, and some tornado potential in southwestern Ontario and perhaps central Ontario as well too. So this is going to be an interesting one to try to cover both Alberta and Ontario at the same time. The latest radar update in Ontario just showed an interesting hook echo, but again, if you are in Rocky Mountain House right now in Alberta, I'm seeing focused rotation heading right into Rocky Mountain House. So definitely a large hail risk there, but there is a tornado warning, and it's very possible that it could produce a tornado with that. So it looks like we do have some storm spotters. Beth Allen, for one, on AB Storm. She's right on that Rocky Mountain House storm, so hopefully she gets a good perspective on it, and we'll know more if there is actually something touching down there. So again, covering Alberta and Ontario at the same time. We've got our plate full. It should be pretty interesting. Let me just go over to radar here. I'm just going to pull up our Instant Weather Pro radar. And I wanted to take a look quickly in Ontario. Again, Rocky Mountain House in Alberta needs to take shelter immediately. But I did want to take a look at this little bit of a hook echo here in Ontario. And you can see actually there is a hook near Huron East here. So that is moving to the east. If this storm gets a little stronger, and there has been some minor rotation here, it is possible that this may have some tornado risk as it tracks to the east. And again, this is in Ontario, but we are covering Ontario and Alberta at the same time. Please let us know in the comments where you're coming from. It's going to be an interesting one, trying to cover both provinces at the same time. So we'll see how this goes. We'll try our best. So please bear with us. And yeah, so there's a little bit of a hook echo there near Huron East in Ontario. And again, there was that water spout reported over Lake Huron that was heading towards areas northeast of Sarnia. So don't mind me, I'm scratching a mosquito bite on my leg. It's driving me nuts. Oh, look at this. You got this, says Sue. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. We got folks from all over the place saying hi here. So, oh my goodness, from Edmonton and from Madoc, and which just had quite a tornado on last Sunday there. That was pretty wild, or 2 Sundays ago. Not yesterday, but a week ago. Okay, so there's that. Let me flip over to Alberta so I've got both radars here ready to rock. So we should, yeah, this is Rocky Mountain House. Oh my goodness. This is strong rotation significant hail risk heading into Rocky Mountain House right now. There are webcams in Rocky Mountain House. Oh, this mosquito bite, I swear. There are webcams in Rocky Mountain House that we can peek at, but they're facing, well, the one is facing north, which is not helping, and one is facing southwest, but the storm is northwest of town. So if we had a camera that faced northwest, that would be useful, but we don't. But again, there are storm spotters on that storm right now. A lot of storm spotters in Alberta on those particular supercells right now. And I'm not sure if there's any spotters in Ontario at this point in time on what we were looking at there near Walton in southwestern Ontario with that hook, but it is possible. I'm going to have to get some afterbite, put it on my leg, or it's going to drive me up the wall. Rocky Mountain House, again, I would definitely be taking shelter with that storm. There is a tornado warning on this particular storm right now for Rocky Mountain House, Alberta. And just to clarify for any of those who are just joining us, we're going to try our best. We're going to cover Alberta and Ontario at the same time somehow. If it wasn't already confusing enough, now we're going to try to cover 2 provinces at once. So this is some rotation. Actually, there's a little bit of rotation back here near Horberg, which is interesting. Let me flip to reflectivity. So this is velocity, so we can see the direction of the winds. That's interesting. There's that signature back here. I'm not sure why, but this is the main part of the storm. Like, this is what you're used to looking at when we look at radar, which is the purple is showing you hail. So this is definitely a hail risk for sure. For sure, with this storm that is heading towards Rocky Mountain House right now. So let's actually animate it here, and we'll see. Let me go to 2 times and hit play and see if we can see what we're dealing with here. So it's heading due east right into Rocky Mountain House. There's no shifting of direction here. It is heading due east, maybe slightly to the southeast, right into the Rocky Mountain House area. So for sure, hail risk and possibly a tornado risk with this storm. We're seeing some focused rotation, and of course, Environment Canada has mentioned a tornado risk. They did put out a tornado watch, and yeah, so that is pretty intense for the Rocky Mountain House area. Let me just back up here and take a quick peek around this storm over here. We have to keep watching near Pembina Forks, just to the north. And there are some other developing storms near Fox Creek as well, too, that we should probably be keeping an eye on. But the main strongest storm for sure right now, heading right into Rocky Mountain House. This storm is a beast and significant hail risk. I think Environment Canada was estimating up to 6 centimeters was the upside, or the higher side of what size hail they could have today in Alberta. So pretty intense. If you're in Rocky Mountain House, Alberta, if you're in any of these little towns or little parts of Rocky Mountain House as well too, definitely want to be taking shelter. And if you're just to the east, Leslieville and Alhambra, those areas are definitely going to want to be prepared to take shelter with this one as well. So let's take a journey back to Ontario again, and let's see if this hook echo is starting to develop at all. Trying to cover Alberta and Ontario at the same time. We've never attempted this before, but today was it was just too significant in Alberta, and there's some interesting potential in Ontario. So we thought, are we going to do one? Are we going to do the other? Let's just do both. So, Adam, you're the man. Good luck tonight. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for the super chat there, Zorz0. Appreciate it. Much obliged. Thank you kindly. Thank you to all those who are sending in stars on Facebook, and those are sending in super chats. I don't think our kind of instant weather YouTube channel has the ability for super chats yet, but if you join us on the live stream on Instant Weather Ontario, you are able to do that. So thank you so much to those who have done that. Thank you kindly. I appreciate it. Brenda says, you've got this, Adam. All right, well, we'll see. We'll see. If you know what the easy thing is? I don't have to think. Is it 3 hours or 2 hours? It's just 2 hour difference. So that should help. That should help. Tasha says, only if you're affiliated on Twitch. The problem with being affiliated on Twitch is they don't want you live streaming anywhere else. So that's a problem. So that's why we're not going to be affiliated on Twitch, because we want to stream everywhere we possibly can. We don't just want to stream on Twitch. So, but we love Twitch, so that's why we're streaming there. But we don't just only want to stream on Twitch. So The rotation on this storm near Huron East kind of looks a bit weaker here. This is in Ontario for those who are watching from Alberta. We're going to jump back to Alberta in just a second, but right now we are in Ontario, just peeking at this storm that had kind of a hook echo going on, but that rotation has weakened a bit. Let's jump back to Alberta and see what Rocky Mountain House is dealing with, because this storm looks ridiculous. I mean, yesterday was also super busy with so many different tornado warnings, and through Alberta and Saskatchewan, it was intense. So yes, we'll see. We'll see. Hold on a second here. Interesting comments. Okay. Facebook link to live stream is broken, says Cindy. Can you clarify? Is it broken on you mean on our app where we have that link? And can you clarify, is that for Ontario or for Alberta? So let me know that one and I will fix it for sure. For sure. So I wonder if we can pull up this this webcam from Rocky Mountain House and see if we can get anything. Let's see here. Oh, we're starting to get new images here from Rocky Mountain House. Starting to get a lot darker on that webcam. Nothing much to see though, because this camera's pointing north. So until that storm is literally right on top of the webcam, we won't be able to see anything from that storm. So we'll wait for the next one. We will see. We will see. We may have some other members of our team joining as well too at some point in time. I think Brennan may be joining us, and Liam said he may be joining us later as well too. And I wonder if Alana might be as well. We'll see. We'll see. Or it'll just be me. We'll see. We'll never know. Brittany says no fiddle man today. Actually, Liam, the fiddle player, he said he might be able to join later on tonight if we're still streaming. So that would be useful, because Liam is awesome. So we just got a report from Rocky Mountain House of massive wall cloud was just wrapped up in rain. So the Rocky Mountain House storm might be rain wrapped. Very strong, evident rotation right here. You can see it very clearly. The green versus the red. This storm is certainly rotating, and again, substantial hail risk, and we're also dealing with a tornado risk for the Rocky Mountain House area. So also Ferrier, Ullen, Garth. This is in Alberta. Again, I'm gonna have to keep clarifying this entire live stream. We're live streaming in Alberta and in Ontario at the same time. So right now we're in Alberta mode, but soon we will be in Ontario. Let's actually just flip over and take a look at Ontario, see if anything has changed. We're going to try to go back and forth. It's going to be pretty intense, but we're trying our best. That's all we can do. Velocity doesn't look that strong on that hooking storm anymore, and that was in southwestern Ontario. It was right here. It had a decent hook on it, but now it's all starting to kind of amalgamate into one cell. So that doesn't mean it's done with. It's just at this point in time, the rotation has weakened on that. We did have some rotation here heading into Ipperwash Beach as well. It's still kind of got a little hook on it near Kettle Point. So that's something interesting. I don't think Velocity had anything spectacular. No, it didn't. So that's something to watch. This little cell here as it tracks into areas east of Lake Huron in Ontario. And again, a Rocky Mountain House in Alberta needs to be taking shelter immediately, if you have not already. That storm looks ridiculously strong. So let's go to Velocity here and look on the storm heading into Sarnia. Nothing too wild at the moment. We'll have to come take a peek back at this particular update when we have one, which should be pretty soon. I think we'll get an update soon. So let's head back to Alberta and check on some of these supercells that are developing. Alberta has a significant severe thunderstorm risk. So it made sense to, of course, go live. The Rocky Mountain House cell might be right on top of that webcam now. So the next time we get a webcam update, we should probably have something to look at here in the next 3 minutes or so. So we'll watch that closely. But we did have a report of a wall cloud heading into Rocky Mountain House that looked pretty intense, and someone said it got rain wrapped as well too. Brock Tropy on hashtag ABStorm on Twitter, says that he's looking north just south of Rocky Mountain House, and he says lazily spinning and messy. So that might be good news for Rocky Mountain House. Maybe just a hail risk, but um, it doesn't confirm for sure that Rocky Mountain House is not in a tornado risk at this point in time. Again, tornado warning for Rocky Mountain House and surrounding areas as well too. Yeah, pretty intense. So I would still consider the storm significant, and you're going to be wanting to take shelter in its path, whether it's tennis ball hail or tornado risk. Either or, you don't want to be outside for that. So hopefully, folks are staying safe in the path of that one. Interesting stuff. So a couple of other storms we're watching. Pembina Forks storm looks like it's starting to get organized. And let me just scroll to the north here. Storms near west of Slave Lake look interesting, starting to pick up some steam. And we're looking at the Carvel radar right now, which is west of Edmonton. And these little Fox Creek supercells are starting to get going as well. Let's take a look at velocity. Nothing too substantial at this point in time, but all those storms are really starting to kick up. And this storm's still looking pretty intense here for Rocky Mountain House. So hopefully it's not producing a tornado. There's a report from just south of Rocky Mountain House that said it was just a wall cloud at this point in time. But let's see here. Oh, interesting. Someone reported a tornado in Ontario. One second. Let me just take a peek. Someone's saying that Walton cell has someone reported a tornado on the ground heading into Ethel. And interesting. So let's flip back to Ontario here and see what that storm's doing. The velocity didn't look that strong on it, but again, it did have that nice hook on it at some point in time. So talking about this particular storm right here with this hook. So a possible tornado report from WX Ontario said it's a possible tornado from the storm. I mean, it has a nice hook on it, and it would be heading this way towards Silver Corners and Atwood. Trying to get more information on that particular one from WX Ontario. Hold on a sec. Let me see if I can find more information on that. See if he didn't post it on Twitter. Tornado on the ground. He just posted tornado on the ground, and he's right on that storm right now. So um, that's not good. So if you are in Silver Corners, if you are in, this is again to clarify, those are watching Alberta. We're going to jump back to Alberta in just a second. We're just talking about Toronto right now, and it looks like there was a tornado report from WX Ontario 1 on Twitter, which says tornado on the ground just north of probably McNaught, heading towards Silver Corners on that particular cell right there. So I'm just going to go send a notification to the folks who are in the path of that one and say and that there was a report from that cell. So give me just a moment and I'll tackle that right now. I can probably actually do that right on the live stream here with everybody. So let's do that together. Let me just do this quickly. That should bring it up. There we go. Okay, so let me just zoom in here and load up Exeter, and I will send in that report right now. And it's on this, which is it's got the right structure, that's for sure. So I'm just going to send a little report here. I think it's going to the northeast. Let me just make sure of direction, and I will send that notification to all those who are in the path. Let's see here. Looks like it's going east northeast, so that polygon should be about right. And I'm gonna go orange and tornado reported. Tornado's been reported with a storm near. Let's see here. I'm gonna say a possible because I don't see a photo of it yet. A possible tornado has been reported with this storm near McNaught, tracking east towards Silver Corners, Atwood, Newry, etc. see here. I'm just gonna take some of that out. Damaging wind gusts, hail, isolated flooding, and frequent lightning are also possible. Severe thunderstorms. Please stay safe in the path of the storm. Okay, and what time is it right now? In Ontario, it's 5:43, and I'm gonna send that out right now. Give me just 1 second. 5:43 p.m. Sent. Uh, reported by a storm spotter. Hold on a sec. There we go. Okay. I'm going to send that in right now, and all the folks in the path of that will get that notification. I'm going to flip back over to Alberta here so we can take a look at Rocky Mountain House because that storm looks ridiculous. And let's see what's going on there. Definitely some hefty hail risk here for Rocky Mountain House, but there is a tornado risk as well too. Looks like maybe the strongest part of the rotation has headed east of Rocky Mountain House as well. So that could be interesting for them. Hopefully, nothing touched down with that because that was yeah, that's pretty interesting here. So let me just jump over to a few different things. I just want to take a peek. Oh, I didn't flip back to radar for you folks. There we go. There we go. So there's the Rocky Mountain House cell with substantial hail risk heading into that area. And I hope everybody there is staying safe. Again, a tornado risk on that as well too. Tornado warning from Environment Canada. Okay, so okay, so that's some interesting development. Waiting to see a photo from WX Ontario there of what they said was a tornado on the ground. Oh, he said phone died, had to rush home to let the family know, pictures and video to come. Okay, so that's a clarification from them why there was no pictures with that. Interesting. So, let's see here. Melissa Walker says, "How many of you here are afraid of storms?" And then raised her hand. To be clear, to clarify, you know, I can appreciate that storms are intense. Storms can be scary, but you know, definitely, if you're aware of the situation, you're already light years ahead. So it's the folks that there won't be any tornadoes today. I won't even pay attention to my phone, you know, and then they get caught off guard. That's when things can get really, really intense when you get caught off guard. But if you already know that this is happening, it's a lot less scary because you're already prepared. You've got a plan. You know where you're going to go if you know have a tornado warning from Environment Canada or if there's a report of a tornado. Yeah, so you already know what you're going to do. So you're like light years ahead of some. So yeah, definitely can appreciate that many in our community suffer from storm anxiety, but you know, what do they say? If you worry, you suffer twice. So let's just take a deep breath and relax and try to we'll try to watch these as close as we possibly can, and we'll definitely see if we're going to see some significant weather today or not. So we're going to watch this closely and see what we can figure out. So again, Rocky Mountain House is probably getting pummeled with hail right now, I would presume. I did say I was going to check that webcam. Let me see if I can get anything from it. The webcams have gone down. That's not a good sign. So 2 of the webcams are down. And we only have a southwest view from from a while ago. So okay. That's not a good sign. Hopefully everybody in Rocky Mountain House is okay. That might just be electricity going down or something to that extent. So let's see here. I'm just trying to look through the comments. So many comments. Try my best. Colton out in Alberta says, "What's the time frame the storm could hit Carstairs, Didsbury, Olds area?" That's a good question. It's hard to say for sure if a storm is going to hit that exact area. But what I would definitely recommend, if you have not done so already, is download our free app. So if you go to instantweatherapp.com, you can download it. You go to the bottom of the page, you click Apple or Android, and you can download it for your device. And then, you know, you go to like the minute product or the hourly product, and it will show you for your area what time should you potentially be expecting storms. So that can be actually quite useful. So, and if you do have our app, please let us know in the comments so that other folks can see if you're enjoying it or not. You know, be candid, that's fine. We appreciate your candid feedback, but a lot of our feedback from the community is that they seem to be enjoying the app and it's been very useful for them. So definitely let us know how you're experiencing the app and if it's been useful for you in the comments, please. So that other folks can see that. I appreciate it. Thank you kindly. Actually, I'm going to put in the comments. I'm going to put, give me one second here. Lisa says, excellent app. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Lisa. Lots of folks. Cindy Lee says, best app I have. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I'm going to say, I put in the comments here, download our free app, Instant Weather. I could type instant weather at, and I'll put the link for it there. Hopefully that's helpful for you folks, and that should hopefully answer some of the questions of, when am I going to see a storm, as opposed to hoping that I'm going to respond to the 8,000 comments that are in the comment feed. It's so much easier because if you ask me like what time is the storm going to arrive, I'm just going to go grab the app. So that's where I'm going to get my information from. So you can just bypass me and remove the friction of waiting for me specifically to answer you, and go straight to the app and check the hourly product for yourself, and then you can see what time they might arrive. So even better, check the minute product because I actually like that one better. But we did have a report of a possible tornado on the ground near Ethel and Hemfrin, Atwood areas of Ontario. And again, we are dealing with tornado warnings in Alberta. We're trying our best to do both provinces at the same time, which is that was a bit of a gulp. So we'll see. Emily says the app is amazing, makes it so much easier to track these storms and be as prepared as possible for us and our young daughter. Awesome. Thank you so much, Emily. I appreciate that. Thank you kindly. Side note, huge thank you to those who have gone to the menu, clicked upgrade radar, and subscribed to one of the options to extend feature radar out 5 hours and to remove ads from the app. So huge thank you to those who have done that. You're the reason that we're able to offer the app to everybody else for free. So I sincerely appreciate it. The whole team appreciates it. And yeah, if it wasn't for subscriptions, the numbers do not work out. The app would literally fail. So thank you to all those who have subscribed. Sincerely appreciate it. Samantha posted Tempest Hunters. Yeah, I did see that on Twitter there for sure. I think she caught a water spout over Lake Huron as well too. So that's pretty interesting. But I'm going to go take a look at some reports here. Again, Rocky Mountain House probably getting pummeled by hail right now. Hopefully no tornado, but there is a tornado warning on that cell, and we do see rotation. But Rocky Mountain House, Alberta, is definitely getting pummeled by hail at this point in time, based on radar. So again, hopefully everybody there is staying safe. But there are some other substantial supercells developing here in Alberta that we're going to have to watch closely. And again, we're not just watching in Alberta, we are watching in Ontario too. So Ontario and Alberta live stream together. Let's bring the whole country together and sing Kumbaya. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, let's bring the whole country together if we can, and watch these storms together and see what's going to happen. So let me just flip back to Ontario radar here. I want to show where this reported tornado was, which is kind of south of Cranbrook. This is in Ontario now. Kind of near the Ethel area. Let me make sure I have the latest frame on radar here. Give me just a moment. There we go. That is the latest frame. So it's interesting. There's kind of two hooks going on here. It could have been this northern hook. And so just to clarify what a hook is here, this is a hook kind of hooking into the storm right here. And that's kind of a hook as well too. So at one point in time, it just had the one hook, but now it may have been, I think it was this hook where the tornado was reported, and see some tree damage coming out from that as well. We're starting to see reports coming in from WX Ontario 1 on Twitter, so I'll have to take a peek at those to see what he got on film as he reported a tornado with that storm. So if we go back down here towards Sarnia, there's still a hook on that cell, which is the one that potentially produced a water spout over Lake Huron in Ontario here. So velocity is kind of weak on that cell, but it wouldn't be completely out of the question if it was to strengthen here as well too. So we're gonna have to watch that closely. We'll see. Those storms are. Let me just hit play on the animation here so you can see. Again, you can check the radar on the Instant Weather app as well too. This is Instant Weather Pro, which we're super excited to be launching the beta very, very shortly. We've been working super hard on that as well too, so we can't wait to get Instant Weather Pro into everybody's hands, which should be pretty exciting. It's actually going to be an upgrade option within the existing app, so we'll see we'll see how that all works out. It's going to be interesting for sure. We still have some things to tweak. It's still going to be a few weeks, but we're excited. We're excited to get that out to everybody as well. So as you can see, those storms are moving to the east. Someone's asking about London, I believe, in the comments. So you're within the next few hours, you'll be seeing that. And let's take a flight back over to Alberta and see what Rocky Mountain House is doing again. I'm gonna have to keep reminding myself to when I'm in Alberta to go check on Ontario. When I'm in Ontario to go check on Alberta. We're doing a multi-province stream today, folks. So bear with us. I know it. Hopefully, it doesn't make things more confusing. You know, when you're like, "Oh, is this storm near me? Oh, it's not even in my province." So that could be a bit confusing at times. So our apologies if this does. Thank you, Tracy, for clarifying that. Um, if it does confuse, my apologies, but I figured we can probably help clarify things. And if you're ever wondering, like if your actual area is under a tornado warning or under any alerts at all, that's another reason that the app works great because often too, you know, they'll get a tornado warning, but it's only because they're within the range of a cell phone tower that's at like the north side of a tornado warning. That's quite a bit away from them. So they're like, oh, I'm under a tornado warning. But if they actually go to our app and check their location is not under a tornado warning. So this causes a lot of confusion where folks near a cell phone tower that is inside of a tornado warning get a tornado warning from that cell phone tower, which becomes confusing, of course. So interesting. Our friend 205 MPH in Ontario said he's near Thetford at 5:54 p.m., which is right now, and he's got what looks like a rotating wall cloud. So that's something to watch for as well too. Thank you so much, Jeff Berry, for the super chat on Instant Weather Ontario. I appreciate that. Thank you kindly, sincerely appreciate that. Still a little bit of rotation east of Rocky Mountain House. I don't think this west side is anything, but still a little bit of rotation heading towards Leslieville in that storm. And storms to the north continue to strengthen. Yeah, those ones southwest of Slave Lake seem to be strengthening as well too. And yeah, we're gonna have to watch those closely. So these storms are gonna explode over the next little bit. It's gonna get pretty intense in Alberta, so we're gonna have to watch that closely. Let's take a fly over here to Ontario. Oh, 1 second here. I wanted to put this here. Why does Windsor keep getting missed? We need rain, says Daryl. I have no idea. There's my scientific answer for you. It's just circumstantial. Every season is different. Sometimes Windsor gets every storm. Sometimes Windsor gets none of the storms. So I would say it's just circumstantial. That's interesting. Oh, I see what it did. I see what it did. It made me fly back over manually. That's great. Okay. So let me just click on and go look up into Muskoka. So we're back over here in Ontario right now, just having a peek at some of these storms. Look up into northeastern Ontario, nothing too substantial that we're looking at here. Head down to Tilt 1. And then there was that Thetford report from Mike. Now, where is Thetford exactly? It's a good question. Where is he? Let me just double check exactly where Thetford is. Thetford, Ontario. Again, if you're just joining us, we are live in both Alberta and in Ontario at the exact same time. It is tricky. It is tricky. So please bear with us. We'll try our best to track all these. Oh, I see. So he is right here. Okay, that's interesting. So Mike is right. Right on this particular cell. Let's see if we can bring it up. I think it's this one. Yeah, he's on this little tiny cell, and it looks like he's got a little bit of a wall cloud developing on that one right there. So, interesting. That is interesting. I have to watch that closely. I don't think there's anything too significant on velocity here. I guess there is a little bit of there's so much noise. Oh, these new radars. I mean, they're great for range, but the noise is brutal to try to decipher what you're looking at here. I mean, it looks like potentially looks like all noise, but some of it could actually be rotation there. But this is a bit tricky to look at when there's that much noise going on here. So But yeah, it looks like if you're in the Thetford area, kind of south of Port Franks, heading towards Sylvan and Park Hill, Moray, there could be a little bit of a rotating wall cloud there in Ontario. We're gonna go back to Alberta now, because that's what we do. We go back and forth from Alberta to Ontario, multi-province stream. What could go wrong? Let's see here. Oh, looks like Mark Robinson from the Weather Network is also on that Thetford cell. So that's interesting here. Let's see if we can get a view from Rocky Mountain House as that storm. We finally got the cameras back. Southeast, do we have anything? No, it just literally dropped an image. Just a wall of rain. There's nothing else to look at there. So no, nothing too compelling to go look at those webcams. But Jessica Santos says, I have family Rocky Mountain House. I hope they aren't getting too slammed. I hope not either. Definitely hope not. So Thunder and Barry, somebody said. Interesting. Let me take a peek at Thunder and Barry. Are you sure? Are you sure there's Thunder and Barry? Oh, maybe with that little storm to the south. Yeah, it's possible. I'm going to drink some Gatorade because it's fantastic. Gatorade's not an official sponsor, but I do like these cute little, these are adorable. Don't drink too much of it, though. I've heard. One a day, maximum. Yeah, look, we're getting some reports. Thank you, Alana, for posting that to our team chat here. Looks like there was a report from Rocky Mountain House that said heavy rain and pea and marble size hail, but no funnels and no rotation. So that's good news. That is good news. Let's see here. Okay, so potentially no tornado in Rocky Mountain House area, which is good news. That storm is heading towards Leslieville now. Let me just jump back to reflectivity to see where that storm is here. There's also another developing supercell to the south. I wonder if I split this. That'll be good. Okay, cool. We're gonna use our split mode on our Pro Radar. Husband saw the Georgia Mall water tower get struck by lightning. Oh, wow. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not seeing a lot of lightning data there, so that's interesting that it happened, but without lightning data. Maybe the lightning data is just slow. So that supercell is quite interesting. This is the Pembina Forks one, the one east of Pembina Forks, heading towards Brazo. Is it Brazo Dam? Brazo Dam? I always mispronounce that one. I'm sure everyone there is just grinding their teeth listening to me try to pronounce it. My apologies. This is nice that we can swipe over, though. So this is reflectivity. This is what we all are used to when we look at radar, which is, yellow is moderate rain, red is torrential rain, and then pink and purple is going to be hail. So, but then we can swipe over and actually, oh, well, hello. Just noticed that right now. A little bit of rotation southwest of Slave Lake right now. Let me just go back a frame and come back and see. Yes, that is certainly, if you look right there, that is trying to wrap up a little bit near Grizzly Ridge Wildland Provincial Park. If you're near that area, nothing on the tilt above it. So let's just keep a close eye on that right now. But that should probably be sending a minor rotation notification to the Brazoo, says Jesse. Thank you very much. Yeah, I should probably be keeping a close eye on this. So folks in the comments, please remind me. Belleville says there's no Slave Lake in Ontario, Adam. Correct. We are live in Alberta and in Ontario at the same time. So from now on, anytime I mention anything, I'm going to anytime I mention anything, I'm going to put the province at the end of it, just to clarify. I knew this would cause some confusion. Yes. So, here's a report from Mark Robinson. He says there's a definite wall cloud on the storm near Thetford, but no spin to it. So there's a lowering, but there is no significant rotation on that particular storm at this point in time. Oh, so thank you, Brennan, for bringing that up. I appreciate it. So back to Alberta. Grizzly Ridge Wildland Provincial Park, starting to see a hint of rotation southwest of Slave Lake, Alberta there. So we're going to have to watch that closely. We're doing something we've never done before, which is live stream in both Alberta and Ontario at the same time. We've done Alberta, Saskatchewan. We've done Ontario, Northern Ontario. We've done like Saskatchewan, Manitoba, but we've never gone Alberta and Ontario at the same time. So we're bringing the country together. We'll try our best. Let's see here. Try our best. Thank you for your patience, and thank you for all your reports as well too. Sarah says, any updates on Whitecourt, Alberta? Just passed a wild cloud formation there. Good question. Let me just, I wonder if our search is working right now. Let's see here. Whitecourt, Alberta. It should be working. We'll see. It might not. Been problematic on our pro app here. So Whitecourt AB. I don't think so. No, it's giving me a hard time. So I just have to go manually search it. Give me 1 sec. I just want to make sure I get the right area. Whitecourt, Alberta is. Where are you again? You are. I see, northwest of Edmonton. Okay. I see. Okay, 1 second here. Whoa, quite the views now from Rocky Mountain House from those webcams. Might be worth bringing those up. They look pretty interesting. So, again, we are live streaming in Alberta and in Ontario at the same time. It's tricky. But let's go up here near Whitecourt. Okay. This is the storm near Whitecourt. This one looks pretty weak, but the one northwest of it looks pretty interesting. Could be doing something up there. Let me just make sure we have the latest frame. Yeah, it's starting to get more organized northwest of Whitecourt for sure. So yeah, it's starting to kick up there. We did have an update on that potential rotation southwest of Slave Lake, Alberta. And yeah, it's pretty broad. Not necessarily a concern at this point in time, but we need to keep checking on it. So, and down here near Condor, east of Rocky Mountain House, this storm still has kind of a hook on it, near Leslieville, Alhambra area, Condor, and yeah, that still has a hook on it and some signs of rotation. So it's worth watching. This one down here is starting to get pretty beastly though, near Strachan. Yeah, that's really starting to kick up some. Like if you look at these velocity values, look at the top, look above my head at the very, very top of the screen right here, and you can see the velocity values here. This on multiple bins, 117 kilometers an hour and 113, 117. Yeah, those are some pretty strong values on that storm. I have a feeling that might be next in line to, that might be next in line to be the most intense storm. This is southwest of Strachan, and let me just make sure which way this is going. Yeah, it's turning into a flying V supercell, and it is tracking to the east. Again, this is in Alberta. We're live in Alberta and Ontario at the same time. We'll go check on Ontario in just a second. Let me just see. Yeah, if you're in Strachan, Alberta, or Congressbury, then you're going to want to be preparing to take shelter with this particular storm, because that's looking like it's the next supercell of the day up there. So that's looking pretty intense. Let's go take a look back at Ontario. And that Thetford storm, we did have reports of a wall cloud, but no apparent strong rotation on that one. Let me just flip over to split mode here, which will help. And I did want to take a look at that storm up here that had a reported tornado on it. I'm not sure if that's still on the ground. Excuse me. Gowanstown, Listowel. There's two hooks going on right now with that storm. So this is back in Ontario for those who are in Alberta. Again, live in Alberta and Ontario at the same time. I don't know how we're going to try to make it work. We're going to try our best. So there's kind of two little hooks on this cell right here, and we're going to have to keep a close eye on that. I don't think there's too much rotation. Maybe a little bit stronger to the south here near Britain, just northeast of Atwood. This did have a brief tornado reported from a storm spotter that was on that storm. I'm not sure if it has lifted yet or not. We don't have those details, but we did send out a notification to all those who were in the path of that one to let them know. Let them know what's going on. And Nancy says, I have Instant Weather, but you keep mentioning Instant Weather Pro. Where is the app? Okay, so Instant Weather Pro is not, we haven't publicly released it yet. So it's something that we've been building for the Northern Tornadoes Project out of Western University. And, but we're also going to be launching it as a product called Instant Weather Pro. But we haven't launched it publicly yet. So we're going to do a closed beta test. We're gonna make an announcement with a link, and you can sign up to the closed beta test, and we'll take the first come first serve kind of thing. But then we're going to start expanding it out further and further. The idea is that the true launch will be next spring, but we are going to beta test throughout the summer and fall, and then into the winter as well too. So we'll see. Let's see here. Rhonda says, you have joined in Instant Weather Ontario. There's also an Instant Weather Alberta page. We won't see those comments from the other pages here. Yeah, so depending on where you're watching the live stream, you'll only see the comments from that page. You only see like the viewer total at the top, and you'll only see the comments from that particular page right now. So you might see, let's say 900 people watching at the very top on your thing, but I see 3,300 here because we're live on multiple YouTube pages. We're live on Twitch, on Twitter, on Facebook, and several different pages. Anyway, so that's why you might only see the comments for your particular page, and you won't see the comments. So if you're in Ontario, you won't see the comments for Alberta, and if you're in Alberta, you won't see the comments for Ontario. So, anyways, that's just that's what happened. Let's see here. Let's see here. Melanie says, Brady Noble. I didn't see Brady's comment, but she said, the massive tornado that went through Barrie, multiple people were only in their basement due to this website and the tornado warning from Weather Network after it hit them. So to clarify a few things, the Weather Network doesn't issue tornado warnings. Environment Canada does. And I think what Melanie is trying to say is that we sent out a rotation notification before the tornado touched down in South Barrie, July 15th, 2021. So, and that was an EF2, which destroyed about 70 homes. And yeah, so we provided an advance notification for that one. And unfortunately, the tornado warning came out after the tornado touched down. That was pretty unfortunate. Thankfully, there was no fatalities. Super, super thankfully, there was no fatalities. Yeah. And that's, we just try our best to complement it the best we possibly can. Complement Environment Canada the best we possibly can, and provide as up-to-date information as we possibly can as well too. So anyways, yeah. Thank you very much for the shout out. I appreciate it. I don't see, one second here. I see. Brady was saying that we never get it right for his region. So Brady, let us know where you're at, and we'll take a look into that and try our best to improve it. But thank you for your feedback. We appreciate feedback, candid, as much as you can. It's the best way. So let's go double check. Thank you, Jackie. I appreciate that. Okay, so we're trying to cover weather in Alberta and in Ontario at the same time. Not that we need to put more on our plate at once, but hey, why not? Let's try our best. We have wonderful communities in both provinces, and we want to make sure that we can give as much up-to-date information as we possibly can to both areas. Yeah, because today is severe thunderstorm risk in Ontario, but also significant severe thunderstorm risk in Alberta. So let's actually go take, and side note, I saw this in the comments. We actually have a page for every province and every state. We have like 130 Facebook pages. It's insane. And then we also have, Twitter pages, and we have Twitch, and we've got LinkedIn now, and we started some TikTok pages. We got, there's no slowing down around here. Okay. And all the new groups we've launched as well too. So that's pretty intense. So let's take a look at the Alberta forecast quickly. If you have not seen our Alberta forecast, we'll look at this one, and then we'll go over and look at, we'll look at this one, and then we'll go over and look at the Ontario forecast as well too. So this is the Alberta forecast, which you can see is significant. Already tornado warnings in place. I got to double check to make sure which one. Oh, tornado warnings have ended. Thank you, Elena, for clarifying that. Elena did mention that the tornado warnings have ended. There was that supercell that's developing kind kind of southwest of Strachan, and that looks like it's kicking up some steam there. So I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't long until that one was alerted as well too. But we'll have to see what does occur. But this is our Alberta forecast here. Well, in just 1 second, we'll take a look at the Ontario forecast as well. And as you can see, significant for the Red Deer area. Yeah, for areas kind of south of Edmonton, north of Calgary, that little pocket of red there is super strong potential here. So yeah, we'll see actually what does end up occurring here. It's gonna be interesting. So let's see here. Give me just one moment and I will flip over to the Ontario map. This is Ontario, not as significant as the risk in Alberta. Thank you, Miranda. I appreciate that. Let me see what I can do here. 1 second. Give me just a moment. But as you can see, severe thunderstorm risk for southwestern Ontario, and possibly a non-zero tornado risk as well too. Can't be entirely ruled out. We did have a report of a touchdown already, so I haven't checked too deep into that report, but I can go check a look. I can go take a look. I believe that it probably has lifted just based on radar, but I'm not 100% sure. So we will take a peek to see what we can deal with there. So give me just a moment. I'm just trying to take a look through the comments here and see what you folks are writing. Thank you so much for all your comments. We sincerely appreciate it. 1 second here. So many comments. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let me just scroll down. There we go. Okay. So again, yeah, possibly areas maybe kind of like Barrier South and in from Lake Huron as well for Ontario. This is an isolated risk for Ontario, which means the majority of folks are not going to see a severe thunderstorm. But yeah, there is still some risk in the Ontario area. And again, we're covering Ontario and Alberta at the same time. I have to keep mentioning that, not only to let you folks know that we're doing both, but to remind myself to keep going back and forth, because usually I focus on one province at a time if I'm live streaming. But sometimes, if I'm not live streaming, I'm focusing on like several provinces at once. It's pretty intense. But yeah, usually when I'm live streaming, I try to stay focused on one, but I have to go back and forth now. So still seeing some isolated storms in southwestern Ontario and up through the Barrie area. I don't think anything is too significant at this point in time, just based on radar data from what I've seen so far. But yeah, there was a little bit of minor rotation, and nothing has kicked up too strong just yet. We did have reports of wall cloud kind of near Thetford, so we'll have to check in on that. But let's go back. I want to check on that supercell in Alberta. So let's go back to Alberta now. We're flying back over to Alberta. And we're going to check on this little supercell heading into Strachan, starting to pick up some steam here. So if you're in the Strachan area, if you're in Congressbury, this is southwest of Rocky Mountain House. This storm's starting to pick up some steam here, and it looks like a little supercell. So there's not super duper strong rotation on it just yet, but it is certainly something to watch carefully as it does track to the east. So let's take a peek. What's going on over here? Where is this? This is northeast of Pembina Forks. East of Pembina Forks, it's got some hail on it. And maybe something going on there, but it's not too... It's in a weird spot of the storm as well, too. So maybe... Thank you, Elena. I appreciate that. Me and not showing the radar. Okay, so let's go back and take a look at that again. So this is the this is in Alberta. This is the Pembina Forks storm right here. There's a little bit of rotation there, but it's not too substantial. And what we were looking at before as well too is this slowly developing supercell that is southwest of Rocky Mountain House, and it's got an interesting look to it as well too. But Sam L says, why Alberta? So we're live streaming in Alberta and Ontario at the same time. We're going to go from Alberta to Ontario, to Alberta, to Ontario, to Alberta, Ontario, Alberta. We're going to go back and forth 100 times if my cat doesn't turn everything off. Sit in your chair, please. Thank you. So, hi, Snacks. My cat's name is Snacks, and he's pretty nice, but we'll see here. Oh, looks like we got some nice spam here. Give me just a sec. I'll get rid of it. There we go. Okay. So Dakota says, Adam, I hear there's a tornado forming Barry around line 7. That would be unlikely, I would think. I would think that'd be unlikely just based on radar, but I can go take a double check. Give me just a moment here. Alberta continues to look strong, but it's slowly picking up steam here. I don't think there's tornado watches in place, but I don't believe there's any tornado warnings at this point in time for Alberta. The one that was for Rocky Mountain House was dropped, and Environment Canada, I'm sure, is monitoring these cells very, very closely heading into Eckville, Benalto, Sylvan Lake, and Congressbury. By the way, I pronounce everything wrong, so let's just all be comfortable with it. I'm sure you're scratching your head listening to me try to pronounce different locations, but let's just assume I pronounce everything wrong. And if you want to phonetically spell it in the comments, that would help sometimes as well too. But Pembina, says Bobby, not Pembina, it's Pembina. Oh, okay, Pembina. I probably got that wrong as well. Anyways, so yeah, just trying to keep an eye on these supercells that are developing. The one that's southwest of Slave Lake is showing some hail as well too. And again, we're live streaming in Alberta and in Ontario at the same time. If that's too confusing, my apologies. Trying our best to watch both provinces at the same time. It's a little stressful, but I'll try. Jocelyn says Grand Prairie. Let me go take a peek up there. I know there is some severe risk up there as well too. Let's see what's going on. Nothing too substantial from what I can tell at this point in time. Hey, my mom used to live in Tumbler Ridge, BC, over here. That's cool. There is some interesting storms developing near Beaver Lodge and Albright. And we'll have to see how those do develop. Let me just see which way they're going here. Give me 1 second. Looks like they are going east, so they may head towards the Grand Prairie area in the next little bit. So thank you for the heads up on that one. I will definitely keep checking in on that radar as we move through the day. Let's see here. So just want to keep an eye on the storms southwest of Rocky Mountain House and southeast of Rocky Mountain House as well too. Those two storms are certainly strengthening. But let's go take a fly over to Ontario. Again, we're live streaming in Ontario and Alberta at the same time. Thank you for those who are being patient while we go back and forth between the two provinces. It is not easy. Let's see here. Rotating wall cloud northeast of Listowel. That was posted by @Waterloo Weather. Thank you very much for bringing that up, Brendan. Thank you kindly. Side note, Brendan, let me know in our Discord when you bring something on the screen so I actually know that it's there. That would be helpful because I'm not always looking at StreamYard. But yeah, I do see that. That was Ray Jameson, rotating wall cloud northeast of Listowel. And so let's go take a look at that storm right now while we're at it. I believe that is up here. Someone was talking about Barry in a tornado. That would be unlikely. I don't think any of this mess would be necessarily producing a tornado unless there was some non-supercell risk, which I haven't even looked at. Let me go take a peek. Is there any non-sup right now? No. I would say that's probably unlikely that is producing, but the environment's getting relatively strong in southwestern Ontario. The VTP, the violent tornado parameter, is up to a 3 already in deep southwestern Ontario. So we'll have to see how that goes. That could be interesting. Yes, again, in Ontario and Alberta at the same time. It's not easy, so please bear with us. It was a last minute choice. Let's just go live in both and hope for the best. And that's where we're at. So let's go up to Listowel. I believe it's this storm right here that he's saying has a rotating wall cloud on it. Let's see here. There's a little bit of a hook near Dryden, Ontario, Palmerston, Ontario, Wallace, Ontario. And if you notice, I'm saying Ontario after I say every single town. So those in Alberta know that right now we're talking about Ontario. And then on the reverse, when I go back to Alberta radar, I'll make sure to say Alberta after I say every town. After I mispronounce every single town name, I'll try to add Alberta to the end of it, so folks in Ontario know that we're looking at Alberta at that point in time. But we did have a report of a possible rotating wall cloud here near Listowel, Wallace area. I'm not seeing anything significant as far as rotation on radar, but we could be seeing something interesting on the next radar update, so we'll have to watch closely to see how that does develop. So severe thunderstorm watch in Ontario, tornado watch in Alberta, and a pretty substantial environment in Alberta with these storms. So again, we're watching Ontario right now, but I'm going to go flip back to Alberta to see what may develop there. Interesting. So noisy. So difficult to look at this radar. It's so noisy. And by noise, a lot of folks always ask, what does noisy mean? It's just there's a lot of clutter that makes it really difficult. Like if you look down here, you know, if it was all just one color and then you saw some red, it'd be easy to see rotation, but you can just see the ridiculous mess. Like, is this a tornado? No, this is just noise. This is all noise, 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 noise. And then there's a storm in there and you have to try to pick it out. So the joys of looking at radar when they're that noisy, it's brutal. But hey, someone's got to do it. Okay. I'm going to head back to, let's take a plane. We're taking a lot of plane rides here. Another plane all the way over to Alberta. We're going to need some electric planes soon. We'll see. Okay, so this is the latest radar update. Yeah, still seeing a little bit of something southeast now of Strachan. So the storm has actually moved. Actually, Strachan's right in it as far as, heavy rain and hail is concerned. But the strongest wind signature has kind of moved southeast of Strachan. And a little bit of possible rotation down there. We'll see. This is in Alberta. For those who are in Ontario, again, we're in Alberta and Ontario at the same time. Not the easiest thing to do, but we're trying it for the first time. For the last time. Oh, north of Whitecourt? Okay. Yeah, give me 1 second here. Oh, that little... Oh, okay. It almost looks like noise, but maybe it's not. Oh, wow. Thank you. Meteorologist Alana Franks just let me know about this developing supercell that is north of Whitecourt with some beastly hail, it looks like, and possible rotation couplet. I mean, those are some crazy... 92.88, and the other side is 63.72. Anybody want to calculate the VROT on that? If we go from 60 to 92, that's potentially some strengthening rotation right there. The values are so high that it makes me think it was noise initially, but I mean, that could be some pretty intense inflow coming into this, what is a developing supercell north of Whitecourt. We did have that report again from one of our community members in Alberta that there was some pretty nasty weather north of Whitecourt. So thank you for that report. We appreciate it. And speaking of hail, this is southwest of Whitecourt. Not seeing anything rotation-wise on the storm, but I'm seeing, if you look at the DBZ values at the very, very top of the screen above my head, 72 DBZ. Let's take a closer peek. 70, 72. That is very likely producing hail. Both of these are hailers right here. And also to the storm southwest of Slave Lake, which has some interesting noise. It looks, I don't think it's necessarily strong rotation. It looks more like noise, but probably based on the probably from the actual hail core itself. But okay, so hail southwest of Slave Lake, hail north of Whitecourt. Oh, I'm already yawning. We just started. It's been a long weekend. Okay, it was my birthday weekend. Yay, happy birthday to me. Woohoo. I just turned 39. Oh dear. 1 year left until lordy. Southwest of Whitecourt hail. And this is in Alberta. We're tracking Alberta and Ontario at the same time for the first time. We're trying our best. Interesting signature here, which is on that hail core east of Pembina Forks. Someone said it's Pembina, not Pembina. Pembina. I don't know. So let me know in the comments if I ruined everything. Yay for the happy birthdays. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, it's Pembina. Okay, cool. Amanda Anastasia says, I do know how he gets I do want to know how he gets velocity maps, though. I can never find good ones. So this is called Instant Weather Pro, and we are going to be launching the beta test for it soon, and eventually launching the actual product. But there's some pretty good apps out there. There's Radar Scope, there's Radar Omega, there's some really cool pro weather apps out there as well that have velocity data. But yeah, we're super excited about what we're building. Again, we're building it for the Northern Tornadoes Project out of Western University. And we're going to be doing some stuff with, we're already doing lots of stuff with Canadian radar that has never been done before. So like noise removal, it's never been done in a pro radar app. And yeah, and other stuff as well too. There's some pretty exciting features we're working on. So yes, so thank you, Amanda, for that. But yeah, so you have options out there. There are pro radar apps, again, Radar Scope and Radar Omega are two really cool options. But if you hold your breath a little bit longer, Instant Weather Pro is coming out, and it's going to be doing things with Canadian radar that have never been done before. So we're super excited about it. It's very, very exciting. All those happy birthdays. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Green skies in Woodstock, we had a report of. That's interesting. Jessica says ETA on Instant Weather Pro. I've put it in the hands of a few storm spotters across Canada, and they seem to be enjoying it. And that's been exciting, and to see their feedback from it. So the beta test is not that far out. Everybody wants an ETA soon. I like to say soon. Every time I've given definitive ETAs, definitive ETAs are tricky. So let's go with soon. But probably in the next few weeks, I'd say we're going to launch. We'll do a presentation and launch and discuss all the new cool features, and do a beta test, closed beta test. But this is in Alberta again. For those in Ontario, just checking Alberta for a second. Congressbury, that storm that's southeast of Strachan on the latest update is starting to get quite a little rotation couplet there over by Dovercourt. So if you're in Congressbury or Dovercourt, that cell is really starting to pick up some steam, and it's south of Rocky Mountain House I'm talking about right now. Let me just go up to that White Court cell and see if it kind of vanished, which it looks like it did. What we thought looked like strong developing rotation has kind of weakened into just a wind signature now, but still some really intense hail probably on that cell. And southwest of White Court, hail. There's just hail everywhere. Look at all these little isolated supercell developing. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 isolated supercell potential today in Alberta, which is not a good thing. So yeah, so we're gonna have to watch that very closely. It looks like that storm's heading into Slave Lake now, overly, and hopefully folks there are staying safe because it looks not that happy. I'm just gonna check on Grand Prairie really quickly because there was that interesting cell west of Grand Prairie. So far, nothing too intense on it, just a little bit of hail, and that's heading towards the Grand Prairie area. So we're gonna have to watch that closely. There are some storms up by Dawson's Creek as well too. So we'll keep an eye on the folks in northwestern Alberta, and we gotta keep an eye on all these little supercells. Oh my goodness, in Alberta. And let's go fly back over. Let's hop on the jet, fly back over to Ontario. So again, we're covering Ontario and Alberta at the same time today. It's not easy, and I appreciate your patience while we feverishly go back and forth between the two provinces. Whose idea was it to go live in both? Oh, it was mine. My bad. Let's see here. Hopefully you appreciate it, and hopefully it's not too frustrating and infuriating. I mean, there's folks that are already getting frustrated and infuriated on the live stream at times when they're confused, and now we're adding an extra province into the mix. So what can I say? We're proactive. Okay. The interesting storms here in southwestern Ontario. We'll be back. I'll check Alberta radar in just a minute for those in Alberta. But there's some interesting little isolated storms here. A lot of little pop-ups and some heavy rain, but nothing too substantial from what I'm seeing. I think I'm going to remove the tornado report from the app. So I think it's still up there on the app for those in that Listle area. I'm going to scrap that. Let me just remove a few. The minor rotation detected. That tornado was reported. I'm going to scrap that. Excuse me. Oh, looks like there is a tornado warning now in Alberta. I have a feeling it's that Strachan cell, but let's find out. Fly back over to Alberta. I have a feeling it's that Strachan cell, because that cell's kicking up pretty strong. Let's see here. I have a feeling it's that one. Let's find out. Let's do it together. I'm going to load up our Alberta page, Alberta Stormwatch on Facebook, and we can see exactly where that particular alert is for. So let's do that quickly. Let me just scroll down here. Where did it go? Oh, it's not. Oh, okay. So it's for it's the lodgepole cell. Oh, it's the Brazo cell. Cynthia lodgepole. Interesting. So this particular one is under tornado warning now. Yeah. So for Brazo Co near Brazo Dam, Brazo Co near Cynthia, and lodgepole Yellowhead Co near Minnow and Wolf Lakes and Elk River. So let's go find that one just south of Edson. Let's see here. Oh yeah, okay. I think it's that one, is it not? That's the one. Okay, yeah. So they did issue a tornado warning on this particular cell right here, just north of Brazo Dam. Looks like it's heading east towards Lodgepole. Oh, you can't see it because I don't have radar on the screen. Hey, how about that? There we go. So here is the storm right there. As you can see, this beastly supercell that's moving to the east, heading towards Lodgepole. Let's hit play and animate the radar here and see which way it's going. I think it's going to miss Brazo Dam, but it's certainly heading towards Lodgepole, Cynthia, Easy Ford. Drayton Valley would be next on the list there. Buck Creek. On that last frame, it looks like it's trying to move a little bit more. It looks like it's trying to move a little bit more to the south, or sorry, more to the east on that last frame. So I have a feeling it's going this way. Let me just draw a little arrow here. Yeah, so Lodgepole is definitely in the path of that one right now. Give me just 1 second. I just have to take a phone call from my wife, and I'll be right back with you. Thank you. Wait, sorry, say that again?
So when it's bedtime, you come from your live stream and come up here.
Oh, you want me to put you to bed tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Well, I'll see what I can do, and I'll try my. Sorry, I thought it was my wife, but it was actually my son asking me to put him to bed. So Lodgepole is in the path of this tornado warned storm in Alberta, just north of Brazo Dam. It looks like Brazo Dam may be missed. Based on radar, it's certainly coming close. If you're north of Brazo Dam, then certainly be taking shelter in the path of that storm. But the strongest part of the storm and the rotation that they are notifying right now is heading towards Lodgepole, maybe towards Drayton Valley. It's not a for sure thing. You're going to get clipped by the north part of that storm for sure, no matter what. But the strongest part of the storm is on the south side of the storm. So we will see. Ashley says, there you go. The boss himself said it's his time, and at that time, yeah. So he doesn't want to go to bed yet. He wants to go to bed and he was just confirming that I'm going to be putting him to bed. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. It depends on if the team is able to come up on the stream or not. We'll have to see how that does go. So Edson just got a notification as well for the tornado warning. So what might be happening here, which happens often, is that Edson is not in the tornado warning. But Edson is very close to the tornado warning. So what happens is there's a cell tower inside of Edson, or sorry, south of Edson, that's inside of the tornado warning. And that sends a signal to your cell phone in Edson, and you think you're in a tornado warning, but you're actually not. And the way to confirm that is download our free app and punch in your location, and you will see if Edson is in a tornado warning or not. So let's do that together. Why not? How about we do that together? We're gonna cozy up together. Get your popcorn and your storm jammies, and we're gonna jump into our app. Let me just pull it up here. Give me 1 second. So I think I've got it on. Again, we're live in Ontario and we're live in Alberta at the exact same time. It's challenging, but we're trying our best. So let me just pull up our app. Again, if you have not downloaded our app yet, it's free. Go to instantweatherapp.com and you can download it for free. You can see we have Windsor, Ontario here, but if you click the little magnifying glass at the very top right of the app, you can click and you can search any area. So I'm going to search Edson, and it should pop up Edson, Alberta. Let's see. There you go, Edson, Alberta. So if I click that, and I click yes, and you can see Edson, Alberta is not under a tornado warning right now. Again, you're close to the tornado warning, and that's why your cell phone picked up the Amber Alert style tornado warning from the actual tornado warning that's south of you. But Edson itself is not in the path of this particular storm. As you can see, it literally says right on the oh, sorry, this is the severe thunderstorm warning talking about. Severe thunderstorm is located 30 kilometers southwest of Edson and is moving east at 40 kilometers an hour. So Edson is under a severe thunderstorm warning, but not under a tornado warning. I hope that helps clarify things there. So again, please download our free app. It's free, which is firstly my favorite price. Free is fantastic. And then, definitely download that. More spam, isn't that fantastic? Definitely download that for free. I'll put it in the comments here of where to where to get it. Give me just 1 second here. Someone said the possible tornado near Brazeau Dam. Trevor, I think it would be slightly north of Brazeau Dam, Alberta. So let me just double check on that. Again, we're live in Alberta and in Ontario at the same time. Probably frustrating, but I hope it's not. And we're just trying to bring clarity to these situations. So let's go take a peek back at Raw Radar. Okay, so it looks like AB emergency alert has said it's possible tornado with that one. I think they say possible. I think thank you, Alana, for letting me know that. I think they say possible if any tornado warning is issued. I think they always say possible, but I think they also, if it says confirmed, then they'll actually say confirmed or not. But yeah, it's very possible that this storm could be producing a tornado because it looks pretty intense on radar. There is rotation there, and the environment today is ridiculous in Alberta. So let's make sure we have the latest update. Here is the latest update from that storm. The rotation is becoming a little bit more non-existent as far as the lowest tilt of radar is concerned. I'm not seeing any substantial rotation right here, but again, Brazeau Dam, we've heard reports of a possible tornado. I don't think anybody's confirmed one, or has anybody sent in a photo of one. I don't think any storm spotters have sent in any reports of that. But it looks like there's a lowering near east of Park Hill near Alyssa Craig in Ontario. Again, we're live in Ontario and in Alberta, trying our best to go back and forth. It's tricky, trying our best. So yeah, it looks like the latest radar update for that storm has weakened the rotation, but there's still some substantial hail there heading into Lodgepole. And again, Environment Canada still does have a tornado warning on that storm. So take that seriously, of course. And I'm just not seeing any rotation as far as radar is concerned at this point in time. But holy moly, this storm south of Rocky Mountain House, I wonder if we can get, thank you, Trevor, I appreciate that. I wonder if we can get a view from the Rocky Mountain House webcams southeast. Do they have anything? They don't. No, there's nothing very good on those cameras. So we'll have to wait to see I keep checking there, hoping that we're going to see something interesting. And so far, whole lot of squat. And when the storm actually hit, the webcams went down. So great. That's fantastic. Okay. Um, Perfect. Thank you. Alana just let me know that there's a bunch of storm spotters south of Rocky Mountain House on this storm, and so far they're just seeing regular structure. There's no funnel clouds or anything in the Dover Court area. So, it's definitely got a rotation signature to it here. So, again, that is in Alberta. We're gonna jump back to Ontario here. Let's get on the plane and fly back over to Ontario and see what we are dealing with in Ontario for our Ontario friends. Live in Alberta and Ontario at the same time. Whose idea was that? It was mine. Okay. Lance says yours. Yeah, it's not necessarily easy, but you know what? I'm up for the challenge. Let's do this. We got this, folks. We're going to cover Alberta and Ontario at the same time. At some point in time, I'm going to have to put my son to bed because he gets really upset if it's not me who puts him to bed. But yeah, we'll have to see. I'll read him. Actually, he'll read him his own book. He's 5 years old and he's like reading chapter books now. He's reading at like a grade 2 level. It's insane. But yeah, so there's no more. I used to read him books. That went away fast. Now he reads to me. Let's see here. Which is okay. I'm okay with that. Let's see here. He reads me a book while I check radar. Yeah, that Alyssa Craig storm looks pretty interesting. There's a little bit of minor rotation on that one. We did see a lowering from was it Alex Massey earlier on Twitter. And so that Alyssa Craig, this is back in Ontario now for our Alberta friends. We're just checking in Ontario really quick and we'll check back in Alberta. But there's a little bit of rotation on that Alyssa Craig storm right there. That's interesting. We're gonna have to keep an eye on that one for sure. There's a little bit of an interesting hook too on this Maple Grove storm, but no rotation to back it up. But it's got an interesting kind of hook right there, which is strange. So Jerry Allen Clifford said 94-year-old cousin in Delburn, SE. Oh, southeast of Red Deer says, so far no big storm, but he's preparing to get inside interior shelter. Yeah, I mean, it's best to be prepared with these storms. You know, you want to have a plan in place, especially in Alberta tonight. You want to have a plan in place. And if, something intense happens, then, you can quickly get to shelter. And again, there is a severe risk in parts of Ontario here that we're going to watch very, very closely as well. We're going to watch both. We're checking for our friends in Ontario and our friends in Alberta. And we want to make sure that everybody knows what's up. Oh, that started to strengthen on that latest update. Yeah, there is actually rotation in Alyssa Craig right now. This update got a lot stronger, and that's turning into a little bit of a supercell. I'm going to send a notification to those folks letting us know. Kimberly says, where are you, Adam? I'm in Barrie, Ontario. But we live stream in Ontario, we live stream in Alberta, we live stream in Saskatchewan and Manitoba, and we have pages for every province and every state, which is a lot. But it's fun. Let's see here. It's where our passion is. So rotation heading into Alyssa Craig right now. I'm going to send a notification to those folks right now. Let me just do this quickly. Give me just a moment. There we go. And I want to make sure I have the latest radar from Exeter. I will flip to that really quickly, and we're going to send an update to all the folks in the path of that storm together. So let's do a little bit of this and a little bit of this. And we're going to send a notification to those folks right about there. And I think it's moving due east. Oh, it certainly is. Maybe a little bit to the northeast. I'm going to do that maybe towards Lucan at some point in time. Okay, so let's update that. How many folks in there? 346 folks in the path of that. I'm going minor rotation detected on this storm near Craig, tracking east, northeast. Yes, and the timing right now is 6:47. There we go. 6:47 in Ontario, which is 4:47 in Alberta right now. And I'm going to clickety, and there we go. And that's 647. Looks good. I'm going to send that notification to those folks right now so they know that there's a rotating storm with a developing hook echo. Actually, I probably should have mentioned that part, but I wanted to get it out as fast as possible. But yeah, there's that storm right now. So we sent that. So if you're in that area, you would have received that notification. If you have our app, Instant Weather. If you don't have our app, Instant Weather, please download it. It's free. Go to instantweatherapp.com and click at the bottom, Apple or Android. It'll take you right to the App Store, and you can download the app for free. And again, a huge thank you to all those who have gone to the menu, gone to upgrade radar, and subscribed to extend your future radar out 5 hours and to remove ads from the app. So huge thank you to you. You're the reason the app exists. The app would not exist if it wasn't for all those who subscribed. So if you have subscribed, thank you so much. If you're using the app for free, thank you so much as well. And if you are using the app for free, please give a digital thank you to all those who have subscribed, because literally the numbers don't work out. Without the subscriptions, app doesn't exist. It would literally go into the red, and it would, that would be bad. So yeah, we don't want to go out of business. That is against our goal of raising awareness about tornadoes and severe weather across Canada and the US, and eventually the world. That'd be cool. Yeah, that would go against that goal if we went out of business. So that's why we do have the subscriptions on the app, and we really appreciate those who have subscribed. So I keep pronouncing Alyssa Craig. Elsa. I see. It's more like Elsa Craig. Oh, pronounce Elsa Craig. Thank you. Appreciate that. Teresa says, extended radar is awesome. Thank you so much, Teresa. I really appreciate it. Thank you kindly. Dean says, love the 5-hour feature. Awesome. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Heather says, happy birthday from Florida. Thanks so much, Heather. Thank you kindly. So Elsa Craig, I see A-I-L-Sa, not A-L-I. It's A-I-L. Elsa Craig, Ontario. Some minor rotation moving to the northeast, and we're carefully watching that. And we are going to jump back to Alberta in just a second to see what those supercells are doing. Some very strange structure happening here in parts of southwestern Ontario. Interesting little storms. Yeah, we're going to watch those carefully. But so far, nothing too substantial, although we did have a brief tornado report in one of those storms as well. So, but I believe that has lifted since. So, okay, let's jump in the plane, and we will. Sarah says, no one's saying anything about Kentucky. So right now, our live stream is focused on the province of Ontario in Canada and the province of Alberta in Canada. Those are the two storm systems that we are covering at this point in time. We do have pages for every state. If you're on Facebook, which you are, go search Kentucky Tornado Watch, and we have a page for Kentucky that automatically posts the National Weather Service tornado warnings down there as well. We want to go way harder into the US and do more coverage down there as well too. We definitely recommend Ryan Hall, y'all. He covers and live streams tornado risks across the US, which is a massive undertaking, massive responsibility. So yeah, so we definitely respect what he's doing down there for sure. And I would certainly cover him for coverage down in Kentucky. And Reed Timmer, of course, brilliant. You know, there's that whole team. Vince is amazing as well too. Anyways, yeah. So it's certainly interesting down in the U.S. and hopefully you're staying safe with the risk down there. But again, we are covering Alberta and we are covering Ontario at this point in time. Looks like the tornado warning has ended. Let me just double check that to make sure. But it looks like the tornado warning has ended in Alberta. Give me just a moment, and I will jump to radar. And let's take a flight back over to Alberta. So we're covering Alberta and Ontario at the same time. It's not easy, but it's a challenge, and we're up for it. So. Still watching that little supercell, tiny little supercell, southwest of Condor. And this is south of Rocky Mountain House. And I know there's quite a few storm spotters on this storm right now. So if it was doing anything substantial, we would likely have reports of that. but I'm not seeing anything too significant in the report world here. So let's go take a look a little bit further to the north. Ooh, it's looking interesting south of Slave Lake right now. That's kind of wrapping up into a stronger little supercell just south of Slave Lake. It's as you can see, there's kind of some broad rotation happening here. And Raw on YouTube is asking if every so often we can do some correlation coefficient. And yes, we certainly can. Every so often. Let's go take a peek. And so what he's talking about is CC, correlation coefficient, would see if there was a big blue thing right here, if there's a big blue blob right here, that would be equivalent of debris. So it has to coincide perfectly with the rotation and with the mesocyclone. It has to be right in that exact spot, but it can CC, or correlation coefficient, can demonstrate a debris signature. So right now, nothing going on with that broad rotation that is happening south of Slave Lake, but that just took a huge turn. Let's notify those folks because that looks intense. So give me just 1 second here. I will get the latest radar up here in, let me get the latest Carvel, and we're going to notify the folks in Slave Lake of that rotation, because that looks like it really strengthened on that latest frame. So let's flip over to that. We're going to do it all together here. So sending a notification to those south of Slave Lake, Alberta, on this rotating supercell that really did just kick it up a notch. I mean, a big time. That's a huge increase in velocity. And it looks like that's tracking to the east. So let's just clickety. Let these folks over here know that there's rotation heading their way. It looks like it's trying to head east from what we can see. Let me just hit update. I don't know how many folks we have up there. 17. Hey, that's better than nothing. I'm going to go orange. Rotation detected on the storm south of Slave Lake, tracking to the east. And the time right now is in Alberta would be 4:55. And there we go. Perfect. Blah, blah, blah. Looks good to me. Clickety, and send. That looks about right. Okay. I'm going to send that right now. So if you're in that area, if you're one of those 17 folks in this particular area, south of Slave Lake to the east in Hondo, Smith, Ranch, and Moose Portage, and can't pronounce that. Decrene. Decrene. If you're in that particular area, you'll get the notification from our app to let you know that there has been rotation detected there, and it's certainly kicked it up a notch, quite a bit there, for sure. Let's see here. Someone was asking about, Amazing Person 3409, our good friend from YouTube, has a great explanation of correlation coefficient. I was explaining one particular use for it, but correlation coefficient essentially detects the difference of shape and size of stuff in the air. There's a huge difference between a raindrop and a car in the air. Well, that's a pretty extreme case there, but yes, what it does too is because it's dual pole, one of the waves is going this way and one of the waves is going this way. So you have the horizontal and vertical waves comparing. So when they both hit a raindrop, the correlation coefficient is like a 1. It's like perfect, right? But then when you have it hitting a tree branch in the air, the correlation goes way down in between those two waves. So, when you have significant tornado debris, you're down into 0.7, 0.6, 0.5, 0.4, depending on how significant the debris is. So thank you for that explanation. I appreciate that. And again, if you have not yet, download our free app at instantweatherapp.com. I'll put it here in the comments. Spend half of my live stream deleting spam bots from YouTube. Oh my goodness, it's ridiculous. Download our free app and I'll put the link there in the comments and a smiley face. There you go. So if you have not downloaded a free app, please do so. If you have our app, please let everybody else know if you're enjoying it or not. Let us know. Appreciate that. Melissa Hood says, thundering in London. Let's jump back to London. We are taking a look quickly at Alberta here, but we're going to jump back to, we're going to take a plane ride over to Ontario really quick, see what's going on in the London area. And yeah, storms are starting to move into that area right now. Still seeing that minor rotation east of Elsa Craig. I think it's pretty much like every 9th live stream I do in Ontario, someone corrects me on Elsa Craig. I always call it Alyssa and then Elsa. Somebody explains to me it's Elsa. Shadana says, I probably pronounced your name wrong, I'm sorry, but says, I downloaded the app and I love how it actually alerts you, LOL. Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you kindly. Let's see here. So yeah, there's some interesting signatures going on, but again, very, very noisy radar. This probably noise. This is so noisy. You just get to see how much red and green. This is wind radar, basically. This is velocity, and here's reflectivity. So there's all the storms, and now what we want to do is swipe over and zoom in and look at this kind of broad rotation east of Elsa Craig. I'm going to say Elsa, no matter how far the storm goes from Elsa Craig, I'm still going to say Elsa Craig because I know I'm saying it right now. Near Carlisle, Denfield, kind of towards Elginfield, Southgate, Birr, B-I-R-R. And yeah, there's some broad rotation on that one we want to keep an eye on. What is happening in the report world here? Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Let me just zoom back here and take a peek. What's going on right there? Oh, this is interesting. Near Watford, there's a little bit of rotation on this storm near Watford. So that's something we want to keep an eye on as well, too. Let me go to tilt 2. Again, for our folks in Alberta, we're just checking in Ontario right now. And then again, we will switch back to Alberta. And then again, we'll switch back to Ontario. We're covering 2 provinces at the same time. It's tricky. Oh, it's actually a little bit more prevalent east of Elsa Craig over here in Carlisle, Denfield, Ontario. Again, we're in Ontario. Right now, we're going to go check on Alberta in just a second. We're trying our best to cover both. It is not easy, but we're trying. I'd rather try than not, you know? It's like, this might be hard, it might be difficult, but let's give it our best shot. Hopefully folks appreciate it. If you don't, I can appreciate that. If it's confusing and frustrating, then my apologies. And but if it's helping at least in the most minimal way, then I would be happy to try to help a little bit if we can. So yeah, this still stands out as something to watch here, east of Elsa Craig in the Carlisle, Denfield area, kind of southwest of Lucan, heading towards Elginfield. I want to keep a close eye on that particular cell. See if we have any updates. Interesting. Yeah, that one and the Watford one as well, too. I want to keep an eye on both of those storms. So that is what we are keeping an eye on at the moment. And we're going to take a flight back over to Alberta and see how the rotation south of Slave Lake is going, because it looked like it really kicked up a notch there. Holy. That next frame is interesting as well, too. Whoa. Yes, so we are seeing still some rotation there south of Slave Lake, and tilt 2 is not that impressive. It looked really good on the previous frame. Let me see here. Yeah, that frame looked, this is definite rotation mesocyclone. That frame looked really impressive. It has weakened a little bit as it's moved to the east, but there's still some high values in there. So we're going to continue to watch that very, very closely. Let's head down here to the White Quartz cell. Some hail in there as well. See if anything is jumping out at me right now. The storm southwest of Drayton Valley is pretty interesting. Definitely some hail in there. And that one southeast of Rocky Mountain House is still looking interesting. I have a feeling about this particular storm. I don't know what that feeling is, but no, I have a feeling this particular storm, as it continues to mature and head to the east, hopefully not towards Red Deer, but it may. I have a feeling that might be the storm that models have been hinting at as this furthest, most southern supercell that is tracking to the east. Someone said we lost sound, so if you lose sound, just refresh the live stream. You may want to go check the live stream on YouTube. It might be a little more stable for you. Yeah. Miranda Bork says, "Get the free app. If you don't have it already, then you can check and see what's coming. I'm under a severe thunderstorm watch as well, but most likely won't see a thing." Yeah, it's good to check the minute product as well too. Everybody says they can hear me fine, so yeah, if your sound is having issues, then just refresh the live stream. That can help if you hit refresh. That can sometimes help with those issues. So yeah, exactly. Alexander says sound is still there. Might need to exit and reboot. I would say yes. Yes, yes, yes. Jeff says, how are there two Carlisles in Ontario? There's two of a lot of different locations in Ontario and in different places across Canada, Jeff. So I don't know why people have it just happens. It just happens. Two places with the same name. It's kind of confusing. You just have to know like one is considered. I think there's a place called Blue Mountain that's not the Collingwood Blue Mountains. And it's nowhere near Blue Mountain. Anyways, yeah, that stuff happens. Kirsten says, is the rotation moving towards Lucan, Ontario? When we were watching that one, it looked like it's possible. It's just south of Lucan, Ontario. It's possible. So again, for those just joining us, we're covering storms in Alberta and storms in Ontario at the same time. Yeah, Ken says there's like 4 different Blue Mountains in Ontario. I know. It's ridiculous. I don't know why this happens. Okay, just trying to look through the comments here. Sorry, there's so many floating past. John says, please tell us about Edmonton. Edmonton's a wonderful city located north of Red Deer. Oh, you mean about the storms. Okay, 1 second here. Let me see. What is happening in Edmonton? A whole lot of squat. But let's take a look at the forecast. This is our forecast for Alberta. We're doing something we've never done before, which is live stream in Alberta and Ontario at the same time. This is our forecast for Alberta. As you can see, Edmonton is kind of halfway in between the red and the orange. Significant severe thunderstorm risk for quite a chunk of Alberta here, and then severe thunderstorm risk in orange, which is very expansive across quite an area. So yeah, it's certainly interesting situation. Will Edmonton see a significant storm? It's hard to say for sure. Jake says, is Red Deer supposed to get hit hard? It's possible. It's not entirely out of the realm of possibilities. Environment Canada had Red Deer pretty much right in the center of their high risk, and we've got it pretty much in the center of our significant severe thunderstorm risk. So it's possible, but it's not guaranteed. Although that storm that is west of Red Deer right now, we're watching closely, and it may have the potential to move east and head towards the Red Deer area. So we're watching that closely. So possibly a hook forming, says Amazing Person 3409. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Velocity isn't picking up on any rotation, though. Okay. It was certainly broad. It was certainly broad rotation, but if it's starting to hook, and there's that broad rotation going on too, that could be pretty interesting. So there's that forecast. Here is the forecast for Southern Ontario. For those who are watching us from Ontario, we posted both of these forecasts, and it's interesting. So severe thunderstorm risk for southwestern Ontario. There is some potential for an isolated tornado. We did have a report of a brief touchdown earlier, but I haven't seen that video to take a look deeper into it, but it's possible. So we're gonna have to watch that very, very closely. Thundering in Grand Prairie, says Kayla. Thank you very much. I do want to take a peek at Grand Prairie as well. Yes. So let me just jump back over to radar before I forget to actually click on it. And so for those asking about Edmonton, right now, nothing happening, but there is a risk as we track through the afternoon to the evening hours. It is possible. Still seeing some interesting broad rotations southeast of Slave Lake, Alberta. Let me just jump into a higher tilt and see if we can pick up anything. Nothing too much stronger in the higher tilts, but yeah, certainly some broad rotation that continues towards Smith, Hondo, Ranch areas right now, south of Slave Lake. I do want to go check on Grand Prairie, and then we'll jump back to Ontario to check out that hook near Elsa Craig. Looks like there is. Oh, that's interesting. I see. I would normally think when I'm looking at velocity radar that this is rotation. And then as I swipe over, you see that it's at a really weird spot. It's actually kind of in between these storms. It may be a merge between these cells. There's some really interesting storms over by Grand Prairie right now. Grand Prairie, Alberta, for those wondering. Looks like all these little isolated cells might be kind of coming together to merge into one big cluster kind of near the Grand Prairie area. So right now, a little bit of some broad rotation happening, probably with this merge, and there's a little bit of hail in there and torrential rain and some strong winds, but nothing too significant at the moment. So let's take a look up here near Fort St. John, another little supercell. Not seeing anything too strong on velocity radar, but there is some hail on that storm. And so much to cover today. We have to cover basically almost all of Alberta and southern Ontario at the same time. So it's a challenge for sure. But hey, why not? We're up for the challenge. Still that storm. I'm telling you, that storm near Evergreen, southeast of Rocky Mountain House, is still. I have still a feeling about this storm, and it's heading slowly to the east northeast towards maybe Red Deer. That's so far the strongest supercell of the day, except for maybe the Slave Lake one. So, what's happening down here? Let's try using a different radar station. Anything happening in the Calgary area? Not much. There is kind of a little storm just north of Airdrie. It just popped up out of nowhere. We'll see if that does anything. All right, let's jump on a plane, fly back to Ontario, and see what. Oh, this is going to take me out to Alberta again. Ow. Okay. Let's fly over here and load up Exeter and see what's happening in southwestern Ontario. Whoa, storms are really starting to come together. Interesting. Hey, this is interesting. This is all kind of clustering into one big cluster. It's very clustery. This is still some broad rotation here, but it's very, very soft. Nothing standing out too strong. This is over here in Ontario again for our folks in Alberta. I'm trying to cover both provinces, so I appreciate your patience as we check into Ontario. Melanie had a question. She said, did a tornado touch down this morning around Rocky Mountain, Sundre? I don't think so. Oh. Alana just told me there was reports of damage south of Rocky Mountain House, but I wonder if that was from yesterday's storms, but maybe it was from this morning. It's possible. I'm not 100% sure, but if you have, Janice says it feels like Adam is cheating on us with Alberta, and I'm sure that it's the same for the folks in Alberta. I think we're cheating on them with Ontario. We cover weather in both provinces. It's fine. We cover weather in Saskatchewan and Manitoba. We cover severe weather across Canada, and actually we have a page for every single state as well too. Our focus is severe weather. Okay, so Alana's saying that she shared a report of some damage that was south of the Congressbury, I believe that's what it was, area. So that probably wasn't from that particular storm. So it may have been from yesterday's storms. Yesterday's storms were intense as well too, for sure. Robbie says, is Olds under a tornado warning? I don't think so. I don't think there's any tornado warnings right now. Yeah, there's no tornado warnings right now in Alberta or in Ontario. And yes, none at the moment. There is tornado watches in place in Alberta. Maisie Person 3409 says, confirmed tornado an hour ago near Walton with reports of damage recently in the area. Oh, and Walton. Are you talking about Ontario? I think he's talking about Ontario. Is Walton? Yes, that's Ontario. That was the brief touchdown that WX Ontario 1 on Twitter reported. And then there's some tree damage on the road as well too. So Yes. Justin says we had Travis Farncombe from Highways and Hailstones on live stream a few weeks ago. For sure, absolutely. Yeah. Anytime Travis is out streaming, if we're live, then we definitely bring that up as well too. Valerie said he just talked about BC. He's cheating on all of us. I'm cheating on nobody. I'm just trying. We're all. It's a very large double king size bed, and we're all just getting cozy in it. So let's all get together and and watch these storms as carefully as we possibly can as we go back and forth between Ontario and Alberta, which is not easy and it's challenging, but it's worth it because I think it's good to cover all these storms. Let's see here. Stacy says, would you be able to give an update on what's going on in Ilderton, please? Yes, I can. I think I'm looking at that storm right now on radar here. Let me see. Ilderton. I think you're down-ish around here-ish. Where did you go? Ilderton. There you are. I found you. You're good right now as far as winds are concerned. There's definitely some torrential rain and storms all around you. But so far, these storms aren't really getting too strong on velocity from what I can see. Nothing too significant right now in southwestern Ontario. There was earlier there was a waterspout reported that was waterspout reported over Lake Huron. Excuse me. And and I'm not sure if that ended up connecting to shore. I think it was just over the water that was reported. And that was over Lake Huron. And then we did have a report of a my wife's messaging me on the live stream to check my phone. Yes, I do have to let them know if I'm going to be putting my young guy to bed. So that depends on the team members. I'm not sure if they're going to be coming on the live stream or not. Maybe we'll, you know, what I could do is go do that, shut down the stream, and then come back live if things continue to be significant. So I may do that. Oh, Miss Esri says WX Ontario has a video of the possible tornado on Twitter. Okay. Thank you very much. McMahon and Family Sarnia says, get this guy a coffee. I know, I desperately need one. Let's see here. So nothing too significant right now in southern Ontario. I'm just going to fly back over here to Alberta and see what these storms are doing right now as well. And I may shut down the stream just to go put my young guy to bed because it's going to take a little bit because he's never fast. He likes to drag it out as far as he can. And yeah, so it might be 20 or 30 minutes or so. And then if things are significant, we'll be coming back on the live stream as well too. So I may do that just so it's not, you know, blank radar sitting here with a big Adam will be right back sign for like a half an hour. I'd rather just shut it down and then come back when it's time. So let me see. Oh, I did want to check on Slave Lake here. Yeah, still some broad rotation of that storm, but nothing too significant at this point in time. But it's definitely rotating here south of Slave Lake. So we're continuing to watch that storm. And interesting signature near Cynthia as well. Let's go check up near Grand Prairie again on those storms. Looks like probably getting some pretty torrential rain in the Grand Prairie area. There is some hail to the south as well too. But velocity doesn't look too angry, which is good. And for those wondering what velocity is, it's wind. So wind radar or velocity radar doesn't look too intense on that storm, which is good. Still early right now. It's still only 5:16 in Alberta and 7:16 in Ontario. And give me 1 second here. Okay. I told them I'll be up in 15 minutes to put the young guy to bed. I got my 5-year-old. That's the joys of working from home. It's actually the upside of working from home is like, you know, if I was out at the office, that's not happening. But you know, I love my little guy and he wants to read me a book and maybe sing some songs, and that's what I gotta do. Because that's the kind of dad I am. Let's see here. Let me just scroll in. I just want to take a look at the storm. I still think this is probably the strongest storm in Alberta right now, is the Evergreen area storm that might be moving east towards Red Deer as time goes on. Again, we're covering weather in Alberta and Ontario today at the same time for the first time. Might do this again. We'll definitely send out a survey and ask you folks if you want us to continue doing these multi-province live streams. But we'll see here. We'll see. Brett says there's no place like home. That's right. No place like home. So here is again, still what I think is probably the strongest storm in Alberta at the moment, moving east, potentially towards, it looks like it's heading towards Red Deer. If it continues, it's trying to go to the southeast, but it kind of looks more like it's going east. Yeah, it might end up hitting near Mintlaw or maybe Penhold, but it might clip southern Red Deer. We'll see. We'll see if it continues to head to southeast. The storm above it is trying to move northeast, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. On this particular storm? Okay, so there's reports from storm spotters that there is a lowering on this particular storm we're talking about that's potentially heading towards the Red Deer area. Philippe had a question. The app doesn't show the pink of hail. Why not? So on our app, it uses a different color table that is when hail gets really big, it'll show as white. Whereas the app also has a color table that is good for winter. So they left pink, and the app actually, purple is freezing rain, pink is like ice pellets or sleet, and then radar is the regular green, up to yellow, up to orange, up to red. And then when it's like really, really big hail, the color table on the app goes to white. So that's why. So if you do see white, then you're talking huge hail on the app for sure. It gets pretty intense at that point in time. Nikki says, which part of Red Deer? I would think southern Red Deer, just by the way this storm is trending. I would think southern Red Deer. I mean, pretty much all of Red Deer is going to get torrential rain, but or at least heavy rain. But the strongest part of the storm with hail and some rotation as well too might end up hitting at the south side of that. Mike says multi-province snowmageddon streams in February. We've done them. Yeah, absolutely. We've done them. It's interesting. So. Okay. Nikki says, what does lowering mean? So it's the storm's getting closer to the surface, which could mean a wall cloud. It could mean the potential for it to potentially produce a tornado at some point in time. So when storms are lowering close to the surface, that's not necessarily a good thing. Yes. So again, we are Sylvan Lake, says Rob, maybe. You're definitely going to get some rain, but I think the strongest part of the storm is probably going to head to your south, just based on this radar animation. So yeah, so we continue to watch these storms to see. Alberta looks like it's got some pretty intense activity going on right there. Let's take a quick flight over to Ontario. It's been an interesting live stream to do Ontario and Alberta at the same time. London's into it now. Heavy rain heading that way. There is a little bit of kind of broad rotation over here south of Strathroy in Ontario. For those who are following from Ontario right now, this is very kind of broad rotation, more of like a wind risk here, which is north of London. So there's wind and probably a flooding risk as well too with all this precipitation, I would think. So this is the most interesting cell right now, south of Strathroy, and I don't think anything interesting is happening up to the north. Let's take a peek. Nah, these storms to the north are actually looking pretty weak. Let me go to northeastern Ontario. Nothing too significant up there. Scroll down and take a peek down here. Yeah, so that is an interesting cell right here near Carignorm. I don't know how to pronounce that. Let me jump back to tilt 1 here. Let's take a look at the lowest tilt. Yeah, it's still there. Interesting. There's something going on right about there. Little bit of rotation south of Strathroy. And where's that going? And again, this is for our folks in Ontario who are following live in Ontario and Alberta at the same time. It's certainly made the live stream more interesting. Maybe not. Maybe more difficult. It's still soft, but there's certainly something happening here. It's starting to increase in strength. So, so we'll see. Where's that Strathroy storm going? That's a good question. Where is it going? Looks like it's going east southeast, maybe towards Mount Bridges, Glen Oak, Falcon Bridge. It's kind of heading into Carrynorm, Glen Oak, Falcon Bridge, Caradoc, Mount Bridges, Christina. Kind of heading that way. So it's not heading to Strathroy. It is heading away from Strathroy. And then this is potentially producing some pretty strong winds, not necessarily reaching severe levels, but a flood risk here as well, too, heading into Thames Center, Cobble Hill. And again, these areas are in Ontario. We're just going to jump back to Alberta a couple times, jump back to Ontario a couple times. Trev asked about Sault Ste. Marie. I don't think anything significant is happening up there. However, Environment Canada, I don't know if you saw on our Instant Weather Northern Ontario page, if you are in Sault Ste. Marie, or you're in Sudbury, or you're in Thunder Bay, or Timmins, or anywhere Kenora, we have a separate page for Northern Ontario called Instant Weather Northern Ontario on Facebook. And check out what we posted from Environment Canada. They're already talking about a tornado risk on Wednesday for Sault Ste. Marie, Timmins, and Sudbury. And that's, for them to do that 3 days in advance is quite rare. So, so definitely check that out. Let's see here. Rob has a really good question. He says, so what's the difference between your radar and the weather network? You say the storm should go south of Sylvan. The weather network shows a direct hit. So to clarify, the weather network and some other apps, what they do is they take past radar, and as they're moving it, so here, I'll take his comment off so you can see my little square here, my little rectangle. They take past radar, and if you notice, the past radar is moving around, and as soon as it becomes future radar, you'll notice it just freezes, and then it just moves the direction it was going. So what they're doing is they're literally taking past radar and moving it forward to create future radar. What we use on our app is a supercomputer, rapidly updated, high resolution, worldwide model that refreshes every 15 minutes. So when you take past radar and you just move it forward, that can be useful sometimes. There are times that it is useful. But if the storms are going to die out, if the storms are going to change shape, if the storms are going to go north or go south or take different directions, it fails, right? Because it can't destroy a storm. Or if there's no storms, and this happens all the time, where these are going to be pop-up storms that haven't even popped up yet. So if there's no storms on past radar, they're not going to show anything in the future. So that is interesting for sure. Oh, northwest of Spruce View is trying, says Brock Tropy on which is you can read his Twitter handle there. Thank you for bringing that up, Brendan. I appreciate that. So that is near northwest of Spruce View. So we'll go take a peek at that. But anyways, long story short, that's basically the difference between our future radar and theirs, is that they're taking past radar and moving it forward, which can work in some cases and in other cases fails. Whereas what we're using is a supercomputer modeled model data that is trying to forecast where the storms are actually going to go. Are they going to die out? Are they going to strengthen? Are they going to merge together and change directions and all that kind of stuff? So, and that can also fail too. It's not perfect, but it can be useful. Sorry, Lana, what'd you say? Oh, I see. She had her mic on. So I want to keep an eye on that Strathroy cell in Ontario, and I do want to go take a peek back at Alberta here. Give me just a moment. Okay, that all looks pretty... no worries. That all looks pretty soft and broad. Let me jump back over. Let's take a plane ride over to Alberta. And now we're in Alberta. I'm telling you, this cell that is heading towards Red Deer still, to me, looks like could be potentially the storm of the day. It may have weakened a little bit there. The Slave Lake cell has definitely weakened. Let's see. Is this going to be range folded? Yeah. Let me go to tilt 2. Yeah, that Slave Lake cell has definitely weakened. So I'm going to remove that notification we sent out earlier. Give me just a moment and I will take that off of the app. I want to make sure that it's gone. The Slave Lake one, great. And let me just get rid of this. And I see. I'm going to get rid of that minor rotation from Elsa Craig because that is also gone. And I think that's about it. Okay, cool. So I do have to go put my little guy. Carol says, better get your story at him before he starts knocking. No, I know for sure. I am going to shut down the stream just to go put my my little guy to bed. And then I'm going to take a look at radar data and take a look at model data. And if things do get intense, whether it's in Ontario or in Alberta or just one or the other, we'll see. And if things continue to strengthen, then it's very possible we'll be going live again. But we'll definitely be watching this very, very closely. Let's see here. Give me just a moment, and I will check a few more things. I just want to see which way, if that new radar update is showing the Red Deer storm going anywhere else. 1 second here. So he was asking about Sylvan Lake taking a direct hit. You're going to take a direct hit from the north side of that storm, but this part of the storm is not the problem. This part of the storm is the problem. The hail core and the southern hook. This is the main issue of this particular storm, and it looks like it's going due east, from what I can tell. Philip says, "Does it look like Marmara is okay?" And yeah, I think you're okay right now. I know you just had an intense 1.42 kilometer wide EF2 tornado in Marmara, Ontario. That was super intense. But right now, I think you're okay. Maureen says she just got a tornado warning for Red Deer, and yeah, that's right. That area, that particular cell, I believe, just got a tornado warning issued. Let me just pull up the details of that on our page here. Give me 1 second. I'm going to make sure we can get exactly which area had the. I mean, I'm pretty confident it's that storm, especially because we had a community member say Red Deer had a tornado warning. But yeah, actually, Red Deer is not in the tornado warning. It's just west of Red Deer. But again, this happens all the time. There's a cell phone tower that is inside of the tornado warning. So for Sylvan Lake got it, and Innisfail got it. So there's a cell phone tower within the tornado warning that got the alert, and then your cell phone in Red Deer can pick up that cell phone tower that's just west of Red Deer, and therefore you think you're inside of a tornado warning right now. But let me actually show you on our Facebook page so you can see. Red Deer is, let me just click on this so I can get my mouse. You can see it's just on the border. So Rocky Mountain House got it, even though I don't think it's Rocky Mountain House that's in the path of this particular. No, Rocky Mountain House is fine. Yeah, right. If you're in Rocky Mountain House and you just got a tornado warning and you think you got to, take shelter from it, there is no storm that's heading towards you. This is the issue with these like kind of more county-based alert areas. But I had a lengthy meeting with 2 of the members from Environment Canada earlier this year, and they're working on storm-based warnings. So those are coming in the future. But right now, we're still dealing with this old system. So let's go through the locations here. As you can, so it does say Red Deer County near Penhold, Innisfail, and Bowden, but not Red Deer proper, not the city of Red Deer. So Clearwater Co. near Caroline and James River Bridge, Clearwater Co. near Rocky Mountain House and Crimson Lake. Again, there's no storm over there. Lacombe near Eckville. And so I'm going to go back to radar to show you exactly where the storm is. And to clarify where it is, it's just southwest of Sylvan Lake right now, and it's heading east, potentially into Innisfail and the Red Deer area. So let me just jump back to radar here so you can see. And I will pull that up right now. There we go. Again, we're covering weather in Ontario, and we're covering weather in Alberta. It's been an interesting attempt to do both of those. We've never done that before. But let us know if you like the fact that we're covering multiple areas. Oh, yeah. You can see where this rotation couplet here. Again, this storm. I had an interesting feeling about the storm, and it's It's certainly not failing here. Rotation needs to tighten up a bit, says Brock. I'm not sure exactly which storm he's on again. He might be on that one, but Alana says that there's a spotter saying there's a well-defined wall cloud on that storm. Marine says, "Guess you're not putting your kid to bed." No, I still am. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go very, very shortly. To clarify, even though I'm not gonna be live streaming for when I go to put my young guy to bed, I will still have my phone. I'm still gonna be watching radar, and if things get even more intense, I'm still gonna post. If need be. So. But Environment Canada's got this one covered, which is great. They've got a tornado warning for this particular cell, and it's very possible they will extend that into Red Deer as it tracks to the east. They may not, though, if it continues to track slightly to the southeast as well, too. So to clarify, who's in the path of this storm? If you're in South Everts, if you are south of Signet, Mintlaw, Tuttle, Springbrook, Penhold, Markerville, potentially Red Deer, but I think the storm seems to be going in this direction, so it might actually miss Red Deer to the south. And again, if you're in Red Deer, if you're in the city of Red Deer, there is no tornado warning for the city of Red Deer, even though you got it on your phone. You got it on your phone because there's a cell tower inside of a tornado warning that's nearby that you receive. You get the Amber Alert style alert on your phone, but Environment Canada has not officially issued it for Red Deer proper yet. So they may change that in time, but currently not for Red Deer proper at this point in time. So I'm going to take one more peek over at Ontario, just for our Ontario folks to see what's going on. Again, this is we're covering Alberta and Ontario right now, and this rotation is strong. This supercell has quite the look to it, and it's been giving me the vibes that it's going to be increasing in strength, and it is heading east towards Springbrook, Mintlaw, Penhold, and maybe southern Red Deer. So if you are in the path of this storm, I would be taking shelter for sure. And we did have reports of a rotating wall cloud on that one as well, too. So yes. Okay. So let's just jump over one more time over to Ontario before I shut down the live stream to go put the little guy to bed. And then I will be back after that. Still some broad rotation south of Strathroy, Ontario, but nothing too substantial. Nothing's really jumping out at me here as substantial rotation. Some strong winds north of Thames Center heading towards Oliver. Those could potentially get to a severe level, but right now nothing looks too intense. There's just a ton of rain, likely a lot of lightning as well too. Maybe some hail in there as well, but a big cluster of storms heading through southwestern Ontario. Nothing jumping out at me right now as significant or substantial, but definitely some storms moving through the area. So I'm going to have to watch those as well too. I'm going to be jumping back and forth between Alberta radar and Ontario radar on my phone while I go put the little guy to bed. And I may or may not be back on the live stream, but we'll see. But nevertheless, I'll be watching radar all night. So anyways, thank you to Brennan, and thank you to meteorologist Elena Franks as well too for helping me with the live stream here. And thank you to everybody for joining in. Let us know if you like the multi-province live streams. We've done them in the past. I don't think we've ever done Alberta and Ontario at the same time. So these things happen. When there's bad weather, we want to watch it closely for all those who are in our community. So thank you so much, everyone. Sincerely appreciate you joining us on the stream. Thank you for all the super chats. Thank you for all of all those stars that are sent on Facebook. Thank you for everybody who has subscribed to our app, Instant Weather. Again, it's a free app. 99% of the app is free. But if you want to upgrade the radar to 5 hours and you want to remove the ads, huge thank you to those who have done that. And anyways, thank you so much. Sincerely appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Amazing Person 3409. You're awesome. Love your help on the live streams. It's really helpful. Thank you, everyone. We'll talk to you very soon. I'm going to go get a story read to me, but I'll be on my phone. I'll be watching closely, and we'll definitely be watching all evening. Thank you so much.